Hey guys, Andy here, and today we are doing another episode of Horror Talk. And on the chopping block today, we have, what is it today? We have Saw 6. You know, I used to be so good at reading Roman numerals because I grew up with a analog clock that was Roman numerals. Yes, Saw 6. Jesus. I still have not watched Spiral, but I am getting there. I think I finally found a website. If you guys have anything that'll let me watch Spiral without me having to pay for it, because your human is low on the movie funds, I would appreciate the tips. But today, like I said, we're doing Saw 6. This came out in 2009, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. As always, if you wanted to see how we did this citrusy looking look, Monday through Friday, I go live over on TikTok, and all of my socials will be linked down below. If you just want to know what is all on my face, that'll also just be in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get on into it. 6, like I said, this came out in 2009, and so we have an IMDb rating of 6 even out of 10, and the storyline goes, Special Agent Strom is dead. Rest in peace. And Detective Hoffman has emerged as the unchallenged successor to Jigsaw's legacy. However, when the FBI draws closer to Hoffman, he is forced to set a game into motion, and Jigsaw's grand scheme is finally understood. And now we have our trivia. And let's see. You know those things that they're the little pots, the salves that teachers use to go through papers so I don't have to lick my finger? I need one of those. This is the lowest grossing Saw film out of all of the Saw series, which I find very interesting because though I don't love this film, I don't think it's the worst out of the entire series, in my opinion. So, I mean, So the fact that this one's the lowest grossing, I find is a very intriguing piece of trivia. While it's used as a plot point for the film, an insurance company cannot void coverage for seeking an alternative, non-traditional therapy. They don't have to pay for it, but it cannot be grounds to void coverage. Because this movie, it was all around the grounds of this man, I believe his name's, Mr. Easton. It was all around him finding this new method on choosing who lives and who dies, which is what, pharmacies and insurance companies do, in my humble opinion, as someone whose mother died of cancer. They choose. That's neither here nor there, but, I had to put that little tidbit in here, because, yeah. It was said to be the last Saw film for Kevin Grutert. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name. Before he got placed in the director's chair for Saw, the Final Chapter, which is the next movie we'll be covering, which came out in 2010. Now, again, we're going to be getting into body count. This is the big spoiler alert, because, the trivia and the storyline is pretty straightforward. The trivia is mostly just some tidbit facts that I find kind of interesting. If you don't want the gruesome, gory details of the traps and the body count and the kills, and you don't want the spoiler alert from a film that came out, in a little over a decade ago, feel free to exit here. No harm, no foul. I will see you guys in the next one. Also, if you're not into the horror content and you just wanted the makeup and the unboxings, I'll also see you in the next one. But if you're ready for the gruesome and the gory, which I say the trivia is my favorite part because the trivia is the only part of researching these films where I feel like I learned something, because as someone who's seen these movies, I know the traps, I know who died, I know the storyline. So the trivia is the only part. That's why I say the trivia is my favorite, but I love talking about the traps. I love discussing the details. So we have Harold Abbott, and he was killed by William Easton indirectly. He was killed by heart disease and lack of insurance. This happened before the film, and the reason why this is from William Easton indirectly is because he went to William Easton. He was denied for insurance. He was paying on this insurance for years and years and years and years, and then he ended up getting heart disease, and they ended up denying his claim, and then he wasn't covered when he needed help, And so he died due to lack of insurance, because when he needed his insurance, when he got diagnosed with heart disease, they were like, yeah, no, we're not paying for any of that. So, yeah. We have Eddie, the pound of flesh trap. This is the actual first trap of the movie. And he's drilled into the temples. That's how he passes. We have Hank, the oxygen crusher trap. His rib cage is crushed by a vice. As someone who has a lot of health conditions, most of the traps in this movie, I would die. I mean, most Saw movies, like if I was put into a Saw trap, I would probably die. Sorry, not sorry. Like, and not for my lack of will to live, even though with intrusive thoughts and mental illness, I do have kind of a lack of will to live. Kind of. We're not going to get into that. That's neither here nor there. But, like, especially this trap, the oxygen crusher trap, I can't hold my breath for very long. I would die in this trap. We have Alan from William Easton. He's hung by a barbed wire noose. Mr. Easton, a lot of these traps, Mr. Easton has to, and I'm saying Mr. Easton because a lot of the people in this movie didn't refer to him as William because he's their boss in this movie, so most of them refer to him as Mr. Easton, so in my head, that's what I'm referring to him as. But, he killed this man, and I literally have it here, I have it right here in asterisks. Technically, all deaths leading up to the ending of this movie are due to Mr. Easton failing to help them complete their tasks. I wrote that down because I knew I was going to be like, wait, why did Mr. Easton kill this guy? That's why. Because he had to help them. Like this man, there were boards, and he had a noose around his neck, and he was blindfolded, and William had to help him navigate these boards, and he didn't do it successfully, so then he was hung by a barbed wire noose. He was hung to death, which was technically Mr. Easton's fault because he didn't guide him on the boards correctly. So all of these deaths up until this ending are technically Mr. Easton's fault because he doesn't help them through their traps correctly, is what I'm getting at. So we have Debbie, the steam maze trap. Her forehead's impaled by several spikes. Ugh. We have Aaron, Gina, Dave, and Josh are all from the shotgun carousel trap, and they're all shot by the shotgun, which I really liked that trap. I thought it was very interesting. We're not going to talk about, torture equal kink, but I liked the please Mr. Easton, no, I have a family, and then the lying and but Mr. Easton, remember when I did this thing for you? Please don't kill me, because he could save, I believe it was 2 people. So, but yeah, those are the 4 people. It was Aaron, Gina, Dave, and Josh. Those are the 4 people that died from that trap. We have Agent Dan Erickson, who was killed by Detective Mark Hoffman. Jugular sliced with a knife. We have Sachi, who was killed by Agent Lindsay Perez, shot 3 times in the back with a handgun. This was an accident. We have Agent Lindsay Perez by Detective Mark Hoffman, stabbed 6 times in the stomach. Bit overkill if you ask me. We have Mr. William Easton, which was the cage trap. He was killed by Brent Abbott, which is, if you're not following along here, Harold Abbott, the guy that died technically, before the film happened at the very beginning. Harold Abbott's son had the choice to let him live or die, and he kills Mr. Easton. Yeah, and he was melted in half by hydrofluoric acid. I don't know why I didn't fit that last little line. So I have it all written on the back of this, and then I had it rewritten on one whole page. I wasted one whole page of paper just to write hydrofluoric acid. But yeah, so those are all the kills for Saw 6. And as always, I gotta give it a rating out of 5 little derpy star guys. And I'm gonna give this one, because like I said, I didn't mind this movie. I really liked the traps in this. I liked the storyline was a bit all over the place. I think Mark Hoffman, being the jerk that he was in this movie, was a bit aggressive, But, like, the Mr. Easton storyline and, like, him going through it, I really enjoyed. So I'm actually going to give Saw 6 a 4 out of 5 stars. So I don't know what you guys were anticipating me giving this movie. But, this one for me, if I can get these stars off of the paper, yeah, this one for me is going to get a 4 out of 5. And I'm very excited to get into Saw, the final chapter. Very, very exciting. And that will be our next movie, and I am so excited to go into that with you guys, and I will be seeing you in the next one.